Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. If you've got no idea how to start finger picking on your acoustic guitar, then this beginner guitar tutorial will give you some tips to help you get started. The focus for this beginner guitar tutorial will be on your finger picking hand, this one here. I'm right-handed, I use my right hand. If you're left-handed, you'll be finger picking with your left hand. You won't need your fretting hand just yet. The finger picking pattern that you're going to learn in this tutorial, now not only is it going to be incredibly basic to help you get started, but it's also going to help you develop coordination and strength, and perhaps more importantly, the muscle memory that's going to help you move freely across the guitar strings. Now, before we get into the finger picking pattern itself, let's get some basics out of the way. Let's start off by talking about hand position. Now, there isn't a single perfect hand position for finger picking guitar that works for everyone. However, there are a few general guidelines that you can use to help you develop a more comfortable and efficient playing technique. And let's have a look at a few key points. Relaxation. Now, this is crucial. Tense muscles will hinder your dexterity and will probably make you tired pretty quickly. Secondly, wrist position. Now, many guitarists, many guitar players recommend keeping your wrists slightly arched and off the body. You don't want your wrist here, and because this allows for more fluid finger movements. Finger position. Now, fingers should be slightly curved with the fingertips contacting the strings near the fleshy part, so near this part here. And your fingers will be kind of slightly claw-like. Thumb placement. Now, the thumb often rests on the low E string when starting, but we'll talk more about that during the tutorial. Finger names. Now, in finger picking guitar, the finger names are borrowed from the Spanish language, not the people, and used as shorthand in guitar tablature or in guitar notation. And here's a quick rundown with a little diagram. So P is pulgar, and that means thumb. I is the índice, and that's your index finger. M, the medio, is your middle finger. And A, annular, that's your ring finger. Now, the little finger, le chiquito, I think it's pronounced, is not something you're going to need for this finger picking pattern, so don't worry about it. And sometimes your fingers are simply numbered, although the thumb is a letter and it's always a T, with your first finger being number 1, second finger number 2, third finger number 3, and fourth finger number 4. Okay, so let's talk about this pattern. Now, we're not using a chord, we're just going to use the open strings, because as I said earlier, I just want us to focus on your finger picking hand. Now, we're going to be using 4/4 time, okay, which means that there are 4 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what we're using for this first few finger picking patterns. Now, the strings that we're going to be playing are the 6th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, and 1st string. Now, remember, with string numbering, it goes down this way starting at 6. So this is 6, this is 5, this is 4, 3, 2, and 1. So 4 strings, 4/4 time, so that means 1 string per beat. So your thumb is going to play the open 6th string, okay, this one here. And generally the thumb plays the bassier strings, the lower strings, the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 4th string. But for now, just the 6th. Now, your first finger is going to play the G string. Your second finger is going to play the B string. And your third finger is going to play the E string. So 6, 3, 2, 1. So let's practice this finger picking pattern together. So remember, 4 beats in the bar, so your thumb is playing the first beat, Your first finger is playing the second beat, your second finger is playing the third beat, and your third finger is playing the fourth beat. And we're playing strings 6, 3, 2, 1. Let's try this together nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I said, the thumb will play the bassy strings, the 6th string, the 5th string, and the 4th string. So let's try playing it, the same pattern, but this time starting on the 5th string, the low A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try it starting on the 4th string, the open D string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, mistakes are going to happen. So if you find yourself doing that sort of thing, don't worry. Take your time and practice this, all right? That's all you need. Practice, practice, practice. And as I said, you will eventually develop the muscle memory that allows you to do a smoother finger picking pattern there. Now, the other thing is, if you have a pre-playing routine, one thing I often do is I shake out my hands, my wrists, and my fingers a little bit, although I don't know about cracking the knuckles. But the other thing is, keep your hands warm. If you've got warm fingers, that lets you play better. I mean, even John Lennon said it on the roof. He said,
my hands getting too cold today.
So we're using 4/4 time, which means 4 beats in the bar. And what that actually is quarter notes. That's what you're playing. So one bar consists of 4 quarter notes. Now, the second pattern, we're going to use 8th notes. So that means instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me show you what this sounds like, starting with the thumb on the 6th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now let's try the same thing, but we'll have our thumb starting on the 5th string, the open A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And finally, let's start with the thumb on the open D string, the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, did you notice, or have you noticed, that no matter which string your thumb plays, the first finger, the second finger and the third finger always play the same thing? So the first finger is always playing the 3rd string, the G string. The second finger is always playing the B string or the 2nd string, and your third finger is always playing this high E string, the 1st string. Always the same.
Always the same.
So we've been looking at this finger picking pattern just using the open strings, using this here. But how does this actually work with chords? So we're going to look at the chords based on whether they're 6-string chords, 5-string chords or 4-string chords. And we're talking about open strings. So I've got a quick question before we continue. Why do you think they're called 6-string chords, 5-string chords, 4-string chords? Why don't you leave me a comment down below under the subscribe button. So here are the 6-string chords, and there are 3 of them. We've got G, E minor and E major. And to play this pattern, I'm just going to use a really basic one. And remember, these 3 fingers do the same thing. This will play on the 6th string only. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I do the E minor chord, exactly the same strings, same string, the 6th. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course with the E major chord, we're just going to put the first finger down on the 1st fret of the G string to give us the major. And exactly the same as we did for the G chord and the E minor chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at the 5-string chords, and we've got C, A minor and A major. And this time we're going to start, our thumb is going to start on the 5th string. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with those 3 chords, this hand does exactly the same, but the only thing that changes is the chord. Now, 4-string chords. Now for 4-string chords, we've got F major, we've got D minor and D major. Those are our 4-string chords. And so what string is my thumb going to start on this time? Well, I hope you've guessed it. It's going to be the 4th string. It's going to be this D string here. So this is how it sounds using the basic pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is why I started this guitar tutorial focusing mostly on this hand here and the open strings. Now this hand, especially these 3 fingers, do the same thing. Now obviously the thumb might change depending on the type of chord you're playing, whether it's a 6th string chord, 5-string chord or 4th string chord. And I think it's that repetitive nature that will help build your muscle memory and will help you move forward and progress. So keep practicing. So let's do a little bit of practice, me and you, and we're going to use 4 very common beginner guitar chords. We're going to use G, E minor, C and D. We're going to play 2 bars of each and we're going to repeat it once, and we're going to use just the very basic finger picking pattern, just 1, 2, 3, 4, just those quarter notes. I hope you've got your guitar and I really hope you're in tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's try this with the second finger picking pattern. That was using eighth notes. That was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... a bit of fret bars at the end. So it sounds really nice, I think, with both patterns, the very basic one and the eighth notes one. Now when you start, let's talk about the thumb for a second. Now when you start, you've got your thumb resting on here, the sixth string. And once you've played it, it rests on the fifth string before playing the sixth string again. And the same will apply with the E minor. Now when you go to the C, you'll play the fifth string and then rest on the fourth string. However, when you go to the D, what I find I do is that my thumb plays and then hides behind the fingers. Let's try another pattern. Now the first two that we looked at were in 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now we're going to look at one that's in a waltzy time. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That sort of thing. Now let's do this again without the chords. And we'll start with thumb on the sixth string and the same three fingers on the same three strings. Now because it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, what we're going to do is this. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to go as normal. 1, 2, 3. Now the third finger, is now going to play another 1. It's going to start the bar again. So it's going to be 1, but this time we're going to go back up. 2, 3. So I think this one is slightly more complicated because we're not just going down like we did in 4/4, where it's just down, 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 down. So you're going in that direction all the time. This time we're going down and then coming back up. So the first half is like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Still the same strings. Same fingers. So these two, we're using the second and first fingers to come back up. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's do this again with the fifth string. So exactly the same. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then with the fourth string, the D string, so thumb playing the fourth string, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we have the first three fingers playing the same strings. The thumb playing either the 6th, the 5th or the 4th string for the bassy sound, but a slightly different pattern because it's in a waltzy time. So that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's see how this works, this waltzy time pattern. Let's see how it works with our chords, our 6-string chords, 5-string chords and 4-string chords. And I hope you worked out why they were called 5-string chords, 6-string chords and 4-string chords. If you did, let me know just in the comments there. Again, it's kind of just down below the like button. So here we go. Here are the 6-string chords. This is a G, so it's going to sound like this. And just that, if you ask me, I think that's beautiful. Here's E minor. Now with 5-string chords, so we start on the 5th string, our thumb is on the 5th string, so we have C, A minor and A, so we're going to play like this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And those 4-string chords, the F, the D minor and D sound a bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oops. Hang on, I'll just play that again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that was a bit better. Okay, now let's have a practice chord progression to go with this. And we'll use the same one as the last time. So the same chord progression again, 2 bars of G, 2 bars of E minor, 2 bars of C and 2 bars of D. And it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That makes up 1 bar. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So a complete go through the pattern is 1 bar. So again, nice, slowly, here we go, me and you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now I think that's absolutely gorgeous. Now Simon and Garfunkel did a beautiful version of Scarborough Fair, and if you really want to practice this fingerstyle playing, especially in 3/4 time, give this video a go here. It's got some great chords. There's a B minor in there, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. Thanks for joining me today. Happy finger picking. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you looking to move away from those kind of very standard fingerstyle techniques, you know, like this? Now, of course, they're very nice and they're a really great way to begin this particular style of playing on the guitar. But with the fingerstyle technique that I want to show you today, it's going to do a couple of things for you. First of all, it's going to help impress your friends and family. And secondly, most definitely, it's going to level up your fingerstyle playing. The chords we're going to use with this pattern are A, D and E major, but also A minor, D minor and E minor as well. And we're going to look at those in a moment. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to break down this pattern and make it easy, put it into digestible, manageable chunks, and only using the open strings. We're not going to worry about playing chords just yet. So we're going to practice with, I'm right-handed, so my right hand does all the finger picking. If you're left-handed, you'll be finger picking with this. So we're just going to focus on our finger picking hands for the moment, and then later on get into playing chords. So let's talk about the thumb first. Now the thumb is going to be doing a alternating bass pattern. And what I mean by that is it's going to be playing two strings, not at the same time. And so it's going to be played over the first, second, third and fourth beats. So if we're playing in 4/4 time, the thumb's going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're doing is we're playing this little pattern over the A and E strings. A, E, A, E. And this is what it's going to do all the way through. So it's going to do it with A and E, but not only that, it's going to do D and A, D and A. And one thing you're going to need to do, and obviously this is going to take a bit of time, so don't put any pressure on yourself. You're going to need to keep the rhythm, you're going to need to keep the timing. Now, we're all human, and yeah, we're prone to speeding up just a little bit every now and then, but be careful, try not to do it like this. Like that, we don't want that, right? We want an even 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So practice with me, okay? I hope you've got your guitar with you. So practice with me. We're just going to do 2 bars, switching between first A and E strings for 2 bars, and then D and A strings for 2 bars. And we're going to repeat that a couple of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's continue, and this time we're going to look at the finger parts. Let's see what your fingers are actually going to be playing. And again, we're going to break this down a little bit. And we're going to look at, we're going to be using basically our first and second finger. And we're going to focus first on the second finger, because the second finger is going to be playing on the beats just like the thumb, and it's also going to be playing alternative strings. And it's going to play the E and the B string. Like, oops, yeah, let me start that again. The E and the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's got the same rhythm, the same timing. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just practice that together for a few moments. As I said, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've got the thumb and we've got the second finger playing alternate. I don't know anymore. We're going to be playing different strings, and let's put them together. Okay, let's play those two parts together because they play on the same beats, the same tempo. So let's try this slowly. First, we'll start with the A and the E. Okay, we'll start just getting the thumb together, getting that, and then we'll add the second finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's add the second finger in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're doing the same thing. And what you have is this kind of pinching motion, just like that there, these two fingers pinching, pinching, pinching. Just pinch, 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 pinch. Now let's try that again, but this time we're going to play 2 bars using A and E with the thumb, and then 2 bars with D and A. And then we'll repeat that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, okay, as I said before, this will take a bit of time. So if you're messing up a little bit, that's fine. It just all depends on the amount of practice you can put in on this, because it's all about that muscle memory, getting the fingers and your fingers and your thumb working together. It's all about muscle memory so that you can do it without thinking, without looking down. But that does take time and a lot of practice. Now, the other thing we need to do is to work on the first finger. Now, the first finger, unlike the thumb and the second finger, the first finger is playing on the offbeat. So in a bar of 4, we play 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what the thumb and the second finger have been doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. But the first finger is now going to play on the and part, sort of in between the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's where it is, and it's always there. In fact, everything you play is always either on the first beat or on the and beat. There's no other beats in there, there's no other changes. So if we just play what the first and second finger are doing. So the second finger, that's on the beat. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if we add the first finger, it'll be on the and beats. 3, 4, 1. And you see, sometimes it completely goes. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it always feels like my fingers are running because they're doing this kind of running type of motion. That's how I see it. So let's try to put this all together. So I'm going to start off with the thumb, then I'm going to add the second finger, and this will be doing that little pinching type of motion. And then I'm going to add the first finger to kind of finish it all off. And I'm going to start off just playing with the A and the E string. A and the E string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now I'm going to add the second finger. And we get that pinch going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to add the first finger, hopefully. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and even with just with open strings, I think it sounds really nice. Let's try let's try changing. So we're playing the D and the A strings. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's pretty tough. That took a whole load of concentration to try and get that right. And I think I did make a couple of mistakes in there a few times, but you know, it's a rock and roll, isn't it? So as I said, this hand here, this is the hand that's doing all the hard work. But you've got to really practice it. You've got to spend some time every day working on this pattern, changing from the D to the A and the A to the E. And that really will help develop your muscle memory. It'll help you get it right. But now, how do we play it with chords? And I said we could play it with A major, A minor, D, D minor, E and E minor. So for chords A and A minor, what we're going to play is the A and the E thumb version. This one, right, that one. But for D and D minor, E and E minor, we're going to play using the D, E, D and A strings. D, A, D, A, D, A. Those strings. So as I said, this won't change, right? This won't change. But obviously your hand's going to change. Your fretting hand is going to change. But this will stay the same. So if you're playing D and E, keep this going on the 4th and 5th strings. So let's do a little bit of practice using A major, D major and E major. And a very simple chord progression, 2 bars of A, 2 bars of D, 2 bars of E, 2 bars of A. That's all we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I said earlier, my timing probably went a little bit slow, a little bit fast here and there, but not noticeably so. So I mentioned earlier that we could play it with A, D and E, but also A minor, D minor and E minor. And guess what? It's exactly the same. So if you're playing A minor, you're going to be playing with the A and the E string. So it's going to sound like this. Now if you're playing D minor, you're going to do it like this. So you'll be playing the 4th and 5th string with your thumb. And if you're going to E minor, you're going to be playing the same as if you were playing the D major, the D minor or the E major. So once you've done this and you've practiced and you've practiced and practiced, I've got something else for you right here. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Right, okay, let's have a strum. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, right? But did you know that there are other ways of strumming without using one of these little plectrum thingies? So put the plectrum down for a moment and let's try and unlock another level of playing with this simple finger strumming technique. This strumming pattern uses only your thumb and your first finger. And we're only going to be using the A major chord, the E major chord and the D major chord. And you'll see why as we go along through this beginner's strumming tutorial. So first, let's look at what the thumb does with these 3 chords and then let's do a little practice with it. For the A, D and E major chords, the thumb is going to play the lowest notes of those chords. If you look at the diagrams here, you'll see the lowest note that we can play for each chord. So for the A chord, it's the 5th string, this one here. For the D chord, it's this 4th string here. And for the E chord, it's the 6th string here. And those strings are known as the root notes, the lowest note of those chords that we can play. For this first of 2 strumming techniques, you're going to play the root note of each chord on the first beat of the bar and no more. That's it. So this is our chord progression and the thumb is going to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Really, we don't need to fret the A chord, the D chord or the E chord for the moment because you're only playing the open A string, the open D string and the open low E string. And this is the reason why I chose these 3 chords, A, D and E, to start this series of finger strumming lessons. So let's have a go together. We're going to do this with the same chord progression and finishing on the A chord. And it'll just be the thumb playing those 3 open strings. The open A, the open D and the open low E string. So let's have a go together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that's it. Why don't you pause the video for a moment and just go round it a few times by yourself or just rewind it and play along with me. So that's what the thumb does the whole way through this particular chord progression. just plays on the first beat and no more. The first beat of each bar, I should say. But what about the finger? What's this finger going to do? Well, for the whole of each bar, it's going to play the same thing. And I'm going to put on the screen now the pattern that you're going to use. So as I said, the first beat is played by the thumb, and then everything else is the finger's job. And it starts on the and of the first beat, which would typically be an up strum if you were using a plectrum. And then it just continues. Down, up, until the end of the bar. So you've got thumb on the first beat, and then one and becomes our first finger strum on the up, and then 2 and 3 and 4 and then it repeats. So I'm going to show you how this sounds just using the A major chord. And I'm only going to play the finger part. I'm not going to play the thumb part just yet, just so that you can really hear what that first finger is doing and what it should sound like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the finger, your finger will always start with an upstroke, and at the end of each bar it will finish with an upstroke. So this is how it sounds using the thumb and the first finger together. And again, I'm just going to use the A major chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's put this together. We'll practice it slowly to give you a chance to get used to the thumb and the first finger working together. And remember, just the A major chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now we're going to put all three chords together, and it's going to use this short chord progression: 2 bars of A, 2 bars of D and 2 bars of E, and then finishing on an A chord to kind of round it up nicely. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's a really great way of strumming, and that particular thumb and first finger pattern works really well on many slow type songs or even mid-tempo songs. And I actually stole this technique, or the basics of this technique, from Paul McCartney. Now if you've ever watched Paul McCartney's Give My Regards to Broad Street, then you'll have seen him do Yesterday and Here, There and Everywhere. What do you mean you haven't watched it? It's a fantastic film. And if you watch him play, he does this particular type of strumming pattern. His is slightly more complicated than the one I'm showing you, but this gives you a really good approximation of it. And I love it. In fact, I love that film. Yes, I want to hold out my hand and say I love that film. Anyone else agree with me? So let's play this together. So it'll be 2 bars of A, 2 bars of D, 2 bars of E, 2 bars of A. That's the whole chord progression. Then we go round the whole thing one more time. Now let's do it. And let's do Paul McCartney Proud. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Now, one of the things with using your hand instead of a plectrum to play is that you do need to be pretty loose. You don't want to be tense here, and otherwise you'll have, you'll pick very hard. You'll go like this, which is not really what you want. So try. I know it's difficult at first, but try to loosen up your strumming hand, okay, to give you this and probably for a while you're going to hit all sorts of strings as you try to do this. Right? Again, that's natural. So you will need to take this nice and slow as you practice. So when you're doing your daily 15-30 minute practice session, take your time over it. Get used to putting the thumb on the string and the first finger doing that rhythm. But don't skip your practice sessions. Before we go into the slightly more advanced version of this finger strumming technique, why don't you hit that subscribe button, the like button, and stay tuned for more content just like this for complete beginners. The slightly more complicated version of this finger strumming pattern has you using your thumb not only on the first beat of the bar, but now also on the third beat. So let's have a little practice of just the thumb, and we'll use the A major chord again, and that's all. And we'll just practice this together. So come on, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just this. That's all the thumb's doing. On the first and the third beat. 2, 3, 4. And that will be the same for the D major chord and the E major chord. So for the D major chord, you'll be playing the open D string, the fourth string on the first and third. And for the E major chord, you'll be playing the low E, the sixth string on the first and the third beats. And just a quick reminder, remember the order of the strings. The low string is 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just a quick reminder. So with the thumb now playing on the first and the third beats, what's your first finger going to do? Well, it's basically the same thing, but now this finger is interrupted by the thumb. And so it's going to sound like this. Have a listen. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So here's a diagram of the pattern that you're playing, and you can see that the first finger is now playing on and, 2 and then and, 4 and. Because on the 1 and the 3, that's where your thumb is now playing. So here's that same chord progression from earlier, But we're going to now do this with the new pattern. All right. So have a listen first, and then we'll practice together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... That sounds so great. In fact, when I can't find my plectrum, usually because my little girl has borrowed it, this is how I play. I mean, I really love it. I think it's such a wonderful way of playing. So let's do this together. We'll go round the chord progression 3 times and then finish on the A chord to give it a bit of closure. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 4. Anything new that you learn, the beginning is always going to be a little bit tricky. So, don't get discouraged, don't give up after 5 minutes. Give it a chance. So I would recommend really practicing every day. Are you putting in at least half an hour a day? It doesn't have to be all at once. A little bit in the morning, a little bit in the evening, a bit at supper time, and you'll slowly build up your guitar playing ability. Honest. Listen, I'll be honest with you, after all that particular McCartney-esque strumming, I was feeling a bit nostalgic and I really fancied watching a bit of that Give My Regards to Broad Street. Now unfortunately I couldn't find the VHS anywhere, so I still want a bit of McCartney. So what do you think? Should I go for this, or maybe this here, or do you think I should go for this? Let me know down in the comments. I hope you got value out of this McCartney style strumming pattern, and I hope that the noise coming from outside didn't disturb you in any way. So listen, smash that like button, and thanks for joining me today. Happy strumming. Yesterday, all my troubles seem so... No, that's way too high. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. In this second fingerstyle lesson, we continue to look at a very basic fingerstyle pattern for beginners. Welcome to Guitar for Beginners. I'm Dave, and if this is your first time to this channel, thanks for dropping by. In the first part of this fingerstyle series, I showed you a really basic fingerstyle technique with the E minor chord. We also looked at the fingers and the names of the fingers, and remember that in many books the Spanish names are used, and here they are. We have the thumb, or pulgar, the index, or índice, the middle, or medio, and finally the ring, or annular. Of course, that's if you're right-handed. If you're left-handed, same applies. the thumb, pulgar, the index finger or índice, the middle or medio, and finally the ring or anular. We also looked at a very basic pattern using 4/4 or common time. If you didn't see the first part of this series or you're not sure about the E minor chord, I'll leave a link at the end of this video. Now, using the same fingers, we'll look at a very similar pattern. But for each beat of the bar, we're not going to play one note, but two half notes. So in 4/4 or common time, each beat is one note. So where before we played 1, 2, 3, 4, now we'll be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we've got in half a bar what we had in one bar before. So let's break that down. We're still going to use the E minor chord, but remember, don't worry if you can't play it very well, because none of the strings that are actually fingered on that chord are actually played with this hand. Now in the first beat of the bar, it's going to be your thumb or pulgar, and then your first finger or índice. And the thumb will play on the first beat, and the first finger will play on the and. And you can get yourself ready by putting your fingers on the strings like so. Don't have them out here, that's just plain silly, okay? So remember, your thumb, you can put your thumb on the 6th string to get yourself ready, and your three fingers are kind of already nicely positioned like that. So I'm going to show you how to play this. Have a listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so like the first video in this series, we're going to play together, okay, me and you. So we're just going to do the same again. We're going to play 4 bars, and we're going to be just playing the first beat with the thumb, pulgar, or the first finger, the index finger, the índice. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that was the first beat, and now we've got 3 more beats to fill. Okay, so that was the first beat, and now we've got 3 more beats to fill. So here's beat 2, okay, and it'll use the 3rd finger or medio, and it'll use the ring finger, and these 2 fingers will be on the 2nd beat and the and beat, so 1 and 2 and, like so. So have a listen to this, and I'm going to show you how it should sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so once again, with me and you together, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So well done. If you're getting value out of this, please hit the like button. So for beats 3 and 4, we simply repeat. Okay, repeat everything. And it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so once again, me and you, and let's keep the rhythm nice and slow and steady and even. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 So we've got two patterns now. We've got the very basic one, and now we've got the new one that we've just been looking at. So let's combine them. We'll start with 1 bar of the original, the basic pattern, and then the second bar will be the new one. So 1 bar of the old, 1 bar of the new, 1 bar of the old, and 1 bar of the new. Okay, so have a listen, and then we'll have a go together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, here we go together, nice and slow. And remember, try to let the strings ring out. Okay, here we are. So play along with me. Listen, don't worry about messing up notes or missing notes. It's natural. Okay, if you miss a beat, try and get that pattern back and in time. Okay, don't panic. You know, keep practicing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So how did that feel? Can you feel the rhythm in your fingers, or are they still a little bit kind of stiff and kind of clawing at the strings? Let me know in the comments section. So as I said, this is part 2 in the series. Here's the link for the first part and for the E minor chord. Please remember to hit the notifications button and get ready for part 3 of this series. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So I was strumming these chords the other night after a really bad day, and just 4 very basic chords. So what we got: G, C, A minor, and D. And what I realised was, after a bit of playing, it was actually relaxing me. You know, I really felt pretty chilled afterwards. And, you know, the whole crap from that day was gone. Now, okay, it's not actually strumming though, is it? It's a fingerstyle playing. And I've got no idea if this style has a name, but I'm sure somebody can point it out to me in the chat, in the comments down below, you know, just under the like and subscribe buttons. I'd be very grateful. So I thought to myself, why not make a video for people? So here we are, and you know, at the end of this, you'll be able to play this, but not only this, you'll also be able to play every other chord that you know with this style. How's that? So let's start with the G major chord, and if you put it on like that, what you're going to be using is your thumb and 3 fingers. Now your thumb is going to play, so the E, A and D strings, and your first, second and third fingers are going to play together the G, B and E strings. Alright, so first finger on the G, second finger on the B, third finger on the top E string, and you're going to play together like that. So you're just going to pluck them. And this is played over 1 bar, and it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. As for your hand position, you know, when you begin this pattern, this fingerstyle pattern, what I would recommend, just when you're getting started, is to have your hand like this, kind of gripping the strings, well, not gripping tight like that, but just prepared. So your thumb is going to be sitting on the high E, it's going to be waiting on the G, your second is going to be waiting on the B, and your third is going to be waiting on the high E string. So, and then that way you can kind of begin the pattern. But obviously what will happen is when you finish, your hand comes away, so you've got to get back on, ready for the next bar. Ready for the next bar, ready for the next bar, and the next chord. And the next chord happens to be C major. Now this is a 5-string chord. G major was a 6-string chord, so you're playing all 6 strings. C major is a 5-string chord, so you're only playing top 5 strings. And this time it's a little bit different from the G major chord, because the first 2 notes that you're going to play, or first 2 strings you're going to play, the A and the D string, 1 and. Now on the second beat, your first finger is now going to pick the G string. So thumb, thumb, G string, B, and then the B string and the E string, you play those together. So thumb, thumb, first finger, second and third finger. The timing is still exactly the same. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now let's put the C chord together with the G major chord and practice going round that a few times and slowly. So here we go. So we're going to start with the G, C, G, C. Just go around it a few times. And we'll play 2 bars of G, 2 bars of C. 2 bars of G, 2 bars of C. Okay, let's go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Isn't that nice? The A minor chord is next, and this is really cool. This is also a 5-string chord, just like the C major chord. So you're only playing 5 strings. And the great thing about that is you'll be doing exactly the same pattern with this hand, your finger picking hand, as you did with the C major chord. So there's your A minor chord. Thumb, thumb, 1, 2 and 3. Thumb, thumb, 1, 2 and 3. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 4 and. You know, one of the things I really like about fingerstyle playing is that a lot of the time this hand, your finger picking hand, does exactly the same thing all the time. This hand, your fretting hand, it'll change for chords, obviously, but this hand, you know, it does the same. And I like that. That's one of the great things I love about guitar. And, you know, maybe that has given you a clue as to how you'll be able to play every single chord you know using this pattern. Not just G, C, A minor and D, but every single chord you know. If it has, let me know down below in the comments. If it hasn't, stay tuned. It'll all become clear soon. But first, a little practice. Let's put some of these chords together. We've got G, we've got C, we've got A minor. But let's try, we've done G to C, so let's try G to A minor and back again a few times. So 2 bars of G, 2 bars of A minor and back. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 and. Now let's try G to C to A minor and back to G again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 The last little practice one is A minor to C and G. A minor to C and G. But this time we're going to play 1 bar of A minor, 1 bar of C and 2 bars of G. And we'll repeat that. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. Now here's the D major chord. Now D major chord is a 4-string chord, so only the top 4 strings are going to be played. And again, it's slightly different from the G, slightly different from the C and A minor, because remember with the G chord you went and you use these 3 fingers to pick at the same time. With the C and the A minor chord you use thumb, thumb, and then you use these 2 fingers to pick at the same time. But now with the D there's going to be no picking of 2 or 3 strings at all. You're just going to be picking individual strings. So it's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. When you play fingerstyle, it's quite common for you to be very kind of stiff here, you know, really tense. And to make this sound, you know, nice and relaxing, you don't want this, right? Because that's awful. So you do need to kind of be relaxed here. You don't want to be picking too hard, and you don't want to be plucking away and pulling the strings out of the tuning pegs and everything. So you want to keep your fingers as relaxed as you can, and also your wrist as well. You don't want to be like that where it's, you know, kind of almost inflexible. So you want to be as, you know, relaxed as you can. It will take a bit of time, but you will get there. So we've done G, C, A minor and D. Now what we're going to do is going to put that together and do the chord progression that I was doing at the beginning of this fingerstyle tutorial. And it was just 1 bar of G, 1 bar of C, 1 bar of A minor and 1 bar of D. And then after that, we're going to talk about how you can play every chord you know with this fingerstyle pattern. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 and again. One more time. And I always like to finish that little type of playing with little downward strum with your thumb. Little thumb strum. Thumb strum. So how can you play every chord that you know with these kind of 3 little fingerstyle patterns? Well, G, as I said, is a 6-string chord. So any other chord that uses all 6 strings, for example, E, E7, E minor, so lots of E's, and bar chords, especially this one. But we'll forget about that for the moment. And we'll just try it with G and E minor. So the chord changes, your fingers change obviously, but this hand will do exactly the same. So G, whoops, G, E minor. With the C and A minor, they're 5-string chords. And as I said, you only play top 5 strings. So any other 5-string chords you know, you can use. So for example, A major, like that. Whoops, not like that. B7. So C, B7. And with D, D major is a 4-string chord. So any other chords that you know that only use the top 4 strings, for example D, for example F, D minor, F, D minor, and D7. So try them out. Let me know how you get on. Leave me a comment down below in the comments, and I'd love to get your feedback. How's it coming along? Are you doing well? Is it difficult? Is it easy? Is there any help you need from me to make this easier for you? Let me know down in the comments. So I hope you enjoyed this relaxing fingerstyle guitar technique, and in fact I did. I'm pretty chilled now, so I think I'm going to have a bit of a lie down, a bit of a nap. So thanks for joining me today, and happy fingerstyling. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. What you just heard there was an example of a waltzy 3/4 fingerstyle pattern. And that's something that we're going to be practicing and you're going to be playing by the end of this lesson. Hi, I'm Dave and welcome to Guitar for Beginners. If you're new to this channel, then welcome and thanks for dropping by. As I said, it's in 3/4 time, and what this basically means is that there are 3 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're looking at a basic pattern, and like the version using 4/4, and check the link in the description for that lesson, we'll be using the thumb and the first 3 fingers. You'll often see these written in the Spanish, where this is P-I-M-A, and the P stands for pulgar, the I stands for indice, the M stands for medio, and the A stands for annular. 8 years in a Spanish-speaking country, and that's all I've got. Otherwise, they're simply known as the thumb, index, middle, ring, or even simpler, thumb, first, second, and third. So for the pattern, we're going to keep it simple. The thumb will be playing the root or the bass note of the chord, and the root or the bass note of the chord is usually on the 4th or the 5th or the 6th string on the guitar. So for example, if we're playing an E minor chord like so, the bass note will be on the E. The sixth string of the chord. If we're playing a G major chord, then if we change there, the bass note, the lowest note here, will be on the 3rd fret of the low E string, because we've got E, F, F sharp, and then G here. So the bass note is generally the lowest note that you can play on the chord. Let's get into the pattern and take it nice and slowly. As I said, in 3/4 time, in waltzy time, you'll have 3 beats in a bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But for this particular finger style, we're going to be dividing each beat into 2. And we're going to be playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So let's try using the open strings. For the first beat, which will be the 1 and, we'll use the thumb and then the first finger. So the thumb's going to play the low E string on the 1, and the first finger will play the G string, the open G string, which will be the and note. So it's going to be something like this. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So now we're going to add the middle finger, the second finger, and the ring finger. And these 2 fingers will now play the second beat of the bar. So the first note of the second beat will be the middle finger playing the B string, and the and of the second beat will be played by the third finger on the top E string. And we're going to have something like this. 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now for the final beat, the 3 and, we'll now be using the second finger or the middle finger and the first finger or the index finger, and we'll be playing the B and G respectively, and we're coming back up in the direction of the thumb. Those are the 2 strings, the B, G, B, G, B, G, and I always think of Barry Gibb. And so I'm going to play those same strings, just open. I'm not going to be fingering anything. And it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Putting that all together gives us this really beautiful pattern. Why don't you play along with me? So we're just using the open strings. We're using the low E string. We're using the open G string, the open B string, and the top E string. And we're using the thumb on the low E string, the G, first finger, the B, second finger, and the top E, the third finger. And this is the most typical way that we play a basic finger style. So when you're playing the top E string, you use this particular finger, the third finger. When you're playing the B string, you use the second finger, and when you're playing the G string, you use your first finger. And the thumb plays the bass notes, the root notes. And the root notes could be on the 6th, 5th, or 4th strings. Even though we're just playing the open strings, it is actually a chord. Which one do you think it is? So we're going to play 4 bars of that basic pattern. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and. When trying to play the rhythm, try and keep it even. If you can, use a metronome. There are many free ones. You can Google it. I'll also leave a link in the description for one that I often use. Don't change the pattern, all right? You don't want to do anything like this. All right, you don't want to do anything like that. Keep it the same. The other thing, try and hit the strings with the same amount of force, but not too much, because you'll get this, and not too soft because no one's going to hear you. Let's try switching between the E minor and the G. The playing hand will be playing the exact same pattern. We'll be doing this thing here. Also, the root note for both the E minor and the G are on the same string, the low E string. So your thumb will be playing the 6th string, and then it will be playing the 6th string at the 3rd fret for the low note of G. So let's have a go at this. We'll do 2 bars of each chord and repeat that. So E minor, G, G, E minor, G, G, and then we can finish off with a strum of E minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and... We can, of course, also go the other way, starting with the G to E minor, so like so. 3 and... Why don't you pause the video there and have a bit of a practice between G and E minor, or alternatively rewind and play along with me. The pattern for this will be the same no matter what chords you're playing. The only difference may be the bass or root note you're playing. So for E minor and G, the bass note was on the 6th string. If you're getting value out of this, why not hit the notification button, the notification bell, ding ding, and keep up with all future content like this one and other beginner guitar lessons. Let's try another change and let's go from G to C. So we know that on the G chord, the root note is going to be the 3rd fret of the low E string. And that's going to be played with your thumb. And what about for the C? Well, if we play the C chord like so, and if you look at the chart, you'll see that the lowest note is the 3rd fret of the A string, like so. The pattern is the same with the 1st, 2nd, 3rd fingers playing the E, B, G strings, but the thumb is now going from the 6th string to the 5th string, like that for the C chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and... A nice sound we're getting there. Very simple pattern, really simple, but really beautiful. Let me know in the comments section if you have a song that you like that uses a fingerstyle pattern. One of my faves is Paul Simon playing Scarborough Fair. It's absolutely delightful. Check it out. I'll leave a link to that song in the description. And another change. Let's try going from C to D. All right, so we just saw that the C, the low note, the bass note, root note, is on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, like so. And we're going to play a D chord next. We're going to go from C to D. So if that's the D chord there, and you can see the chart, what are we going to be playing with the thumb? Because we know that the 1st, 2nd and 3rd finger is going to do exactly the same. And if you guessed it, let me know in the comments. Yes, it's the open D string. That's our root note. So let's try that there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Let's put it all together now. And we've got 4 great chords: E minor, G, C and D. And they all have a different root note. And remember that you can use this technique with all basic chords. Check out my playlist for all basic chords and let me know how you're getting on. There's the chord progression that we're going to be playing, and this is the one that I played at the very start of this video. It's got the four chords that we've just looked at, G, E minor, C and D. And this is a really common chord progression used in many rock and roll songs. And the way I played it is very similar to the way it's played on Earth Angel, that absolutely gorgeous song. Let's have a go at this. You know, this is going to give your right hand, it's going to give your left hand a bit of a workout. And your fretting hand here is going to have to be pretty spot on, really. And so you can, you know, when you practice this slowly. There's no need to rush, because you want to make sure that, especially with the G chord and the C chord, because the root note, the bass note, is a fretted string, you need to make sure you're right there at the beginning of the beat. Otherwise, you're going to miss the beat and you're going to miss that note. Also, remember, try not to speed up, try not to slow down. Keep the rhythm as even as you can. If you've got a metronome, use it. They're very helpful. Remember, you could be accompanying a singer, and as you're playing the rhythm, you want to be in time. Here's the chord progression, one bar of each and ending on a G chord. 1, 2, 3. If you're not busy now, why not try my beginner's Scarborough Fair fingerstyle lesson? See you in the next lesson. Hasta luego. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Do you want to get started with the absolute basics of fingerstyle guitar? That's what this lesson will show you. In this lesson, I'm going to get you started on fingerstyle guitar playing. You're going to learn the absolute basics to get you going. If you're new to this channel, then thanks for dropping in. I hope you've got your guitar and you're ready to practice with me. For this lesson, we'll be using our fingers and just one chord, the E minor chord. And you'll see why if you stick around till the end. I'll also give you a few other tips at the end of this lesson too. If you don't know the E minor chord, then there's a link in the description to learn that chord. But why don't you check it out after this lesson? So let's focus on your right hand, as this is the hand that's going to be doing all the hard work today. The fingers are labelled like this. And if you look at the diagram, they often use the Spanish names. So we have things like P for the thumb, which in Spanish is pulgar. I for the index finger, and in Spanish is índice. The middle finger, or medio, and then finally the ring finger, the annular. However, you'll also see it like this, and you'll see T for thumb, and then 1, 2, 3. That may seem more preferable, but the numbering can sometimes confuse you with your chord playing hand. So more often you'll see the P-I-M-A version. For this lesson, we're only focusing on the thumb and these three fingers. Okay, not the little one, or for our American viewers, the pinky. The other's insane. So we've got the fingers, now we need the pattern. And we'll be using standard common time, or 4/4, which has just 4 beats in the bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. For this lesson, we're going to keep the tempo quite slow. The thumb, or the pulgar, if we use the Spanish term, usually plays the lowest notes, and more often than not, the root note, or the bass note. For us, our lowest note is going to be the low E, or 6th string, like this, and with 4/4 time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I hope you've got your guitar, because I want you to play with me. Okay, so after 4, we're going to play 4 bars of just the thumb. Okay, just like I did a moment ago. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's start adding the other fingers. The first finger, the index or índice, is going to play the open G string or the open third string. And it's going to play it on the second beat of the bar. So we'll now have the thumb and the first finger, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try that together. Remember the thumb and the first finger, the thumb on the first beat, the first finger on the second beat. Okay, here we go, ready to play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can pause the video here and try that on your own for a while, or you can hit that like button if you're getting value out of this. Now it's time for the second finger, or medio finger. And this will play on the third beat of the bar, okay, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now together, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, pause it here. Have another go. And also hit that like button. Okay, and here's the last finger we're going to use. It's the ring finger or the anular. Hope you're enjoying my Spanish. And any idea which string this is going to play? Answers on a postcard, please. So it'll play the top E or first string, and it'll be on the fourth beat of the bar. Okay, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so join in with me. We're going to use all four. We're going to use all the fingers now, the thumb, the first, the second and the third. So ready? Together after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done. And this is the most basic, but it's a really incredibly effective fingerstyle technique. But what about the chord, I hear you ask? So, okay, let's play that E minor chord that I mentioned before. And you can see the diagram up there. And so if you'll finger the chord, like so, you'll see that the strings that the right hand are playing are the ones that are not actually fingered on there. And I did this because I thought it was better to make this as easy as possible for you, so that you're not worrying about fingering the chords and making sure that the notes are all ringing out true. Why complicate things? So now you can play a basic fingerstyle pattern over the E minor chord with your thumb picking the bass note or the root note of the E minor chord. And the bass note of the E minor chord is the E, the low E string. And the first, second, third fingers are playing over the top 3 strings of the chord. So have a look at this. I'm going to play the pattern with the chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. And no chord. Brilliant, A. So that's the pattern. It's a beautiful little thing, and it's just the start of your fingerstyle journey. Practice it, and then in another video we'll look at different chords with the same pattern and what root notes to play. But don't go just yet. First of all, click that notifications button to stay up to date, and if you've liked this video, then why not hit like and subscribe. It's always nice to have new members in this guitar community. I said practice, but how? Practice how we did it during the lesson. In fact, why not go back and practice with me again? Or you can practice just the thumb, and then the thumb and the first finger, and then the thumb, the first finger and the second finger, and so on. And you can also start to speed up. And a good way to keep in time is to use a metronome. Now there are plenty of metronomes online, or you can download an app on your phone. Also, something I get asked about is what to do with your fingers after you've picked a string. After you pick with your thumb, it's okay to rest it on the 5th string or the A string, as this doesn't need to ring out. So I generally do this. And if you see the thumb, and now it's just resting there, relaxing, having a bit of a break. And the A string is not being used. As for the 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers, so after you've played them and you've lifted your finger off, let the string ring out. Okay, so it's going to go. Okay, you can hear the strings still ringing out. Another common question that beginners often ask is about nails on the right hand. Well, you can keep them short or you can have them long. And a lot of guitarists have long fingernails as it gives them a different sound to the string when it's picked. But you don't have to have them too long. I hope that hasn't put you off your lunch. So let me know in the comments if you think you'll be a long or short fingernail fingerstyle guitar player. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this, and hit the link here to check out other lessons in this series to brush up on your chords. And I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to rise. You know, if I'd put 10% of the effort into my studies when I was at school, as I did with this song, I'd probably have like 3 CSEs. But I probably wouldn't have the 3 loves of my life that I have right now. Aww. I honestly don't know if this is exactly or anywhere near what Paul McCartney plays on the record. And you know, I don't make any claim of that sort. But I tell you what though, even this basic way of playing Blackbird sounds fucking awesome. So this part 1 of my Blackbird guitar system involves 2 fingers on your strumming hand, or should I say your finger picking hand. Not fingers actually, you'll be using your thumb and your 2nd finger. This is all you'll be using on this hand, and it will they'll always be together. Okay, you'll always be playing them together, like a pincer movement, I think it is. And your thumb is always going to be playing the low strings. It's going to be playing the E, the 6th string, the A, the 5th string, and the D or 4th string. Your 2nd finger is always going to be playing the top E string, the 1st string, the B string, the 2nd string, and the 3rd string, the G string. All right. And as I said, you'll only ever be picking 2 strings at a time. And basically, whatever you're supposed to be playing up here is what you'll be picking up here. And most of the time, you'll be picking the 5th string, that's the A string, and the B string. I think that's the most common combination. You'll also be picking the 5th string and the 1st string. I think that's the 2nd most common combination of strings. You'll also be picking the 6th string and the 2nd string, And also the final combination will be the 4th string and the 2nd string, the D and the B string. So as I said, whatever notes you're supposed to be playing here, you'll be picking with your thumb and your 2nd finger over here. Now there's a lot of movement up and down the fretboard. Just a reminder, up is going this way towards the 10th, 11th, 12th fret, and down is going this way. But as I said, there's a lot of movement up and down the fretboard, but if you take your time, if you learn this slowly, be patient but persistent, you'll get it right. Now, while I did learn this from the guitar tab of that Beatles book, the fingering I used is what I felt comfortable with, or what I feel comfortable with. Now, a guitar tab doesn't tell you what fingers to use. So if the fingers I use don't feel too comfortable for you on this hand, on your fretting hand, then use whatever you like. Now, the other thing is there are some weird timings in this song. Now, according to my old Beatles book, there's like a 6/8, 4/4, 3/4, 2/4, 3/2. Sounds like football scores, right? Now I don't know what they are really. I couldn't really explain that to you as well as I'd like. But the thing is, I didn't learn the song based on those time signatures. I learned the song basically on my knowledge of the song. So I know how the song goes. And one of the things is, if you're learning a new song for the first time, if you know that song, if you can sing that song in the shower, then generally it makes it easier to learn it on the guitar, because you kind of know the strumming pattern, or you know the rhythm, how it should sound. So I'm not going to be worrying about telling you what time signature to be playing here. I've got the tabs for how I'm going to show you this particular way of playing Blackbird. So if you want them, let me know in the comments or send me an email. If you check down in the description, you'll find my email address. Send me a message saying you want this tab and I'll send it back to you. Also on the screen you will see the tabs as well, so you can also get a screenshot as we're going. All right, now let's get on with the song. So the intro is this. And what are we playing? So we're kicking off with the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string and the open B string. And that's pretty recognisable, I think, as the beginning of Blackbird. Next we're playing the open A string and the 1st fret of the B string. So we're going. And you notice that immediately we're doing this kind of pincer movement. Next comes, we're going to put our 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string and our 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. So we're going, and it's sounding pretty nice, just like that. So, and one thing you want to do as you practice this is to take these little sections and really work on them, you know. So you could stop the video here and just keep going, and even doing it backwards, yeah, just to get used to these fingers here working together and what's going on up here. Now the last part of the intro is the really big slide from here all the way up to here. So what we've got here, this 4th finger is on the 12th fret of the B string, the 12th fret of the B string. And this finger here, your 1st finger, is on the 10th fret of the A string. And you know, on your guitar, to help you find your way around the guitar, especially when you go up the fretboard, is using these dots here to help you. So you've got the 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret and 12th fret. Alright, so these dots here can guide you. Now you may also have a dot here on the 3rd fret as well. And they're not only just on here, but they're also on the side of the guitar up here. So what do we have? We've got and that's our intro. And as I said, even this really basic way of playing it is absolutely gorgeous. And really, I think it sounds like the real thing. Basic, but you know, you can still tell what it is. Now, as I said, that slide is probably the most difficult part. So you want to be careful with that. Again, taking it easy from that part here, a third step to there. Take it a little bit easy, take it slowly. I mean, you're more than likely going to do a lot of this, because I know I did. Okay, right, so that was the intro. Now let's have a look at the verses. So the verse starts off with the same as the intro. We've got this, and so it goes, blackbird singing in the dead of night. Now the next bit, the take these broken wings, learn to fly, that bit has a lovely ascending part. And what we have, I'll split this up into two little bits. And it goes like this. So the bass is doing this up ascending part. Goes like this. And you'll notice that I'm using the first finger, second finger, first finger, second finger, first finger, first finger. So third fret, fourth fret, fifth fret, sixth fret, seventh fret, and sixth fret. And that's all on the A string. And the fourth finger is in the first finger. Now we're going to be using a little bit more than just the A string and the B. It's not the A. Yeah, the A string and the B string. We're going to be using a bit more now, because this finger, then this part here is going to be first. It's going to be third fret or fifth fret of the B string. Then it's the third fret of the top E string, the high E string. So we're going, right? And then we move up 2 frets and do exactly the same. So, and then the little finger on the B string still is going to go onto the 8th fret of the B string. So we've got, and then putting that together, this is where it gets a touch more complicated, is like this. So third fret of the A string, first finger, 5th fret of the B string with the 4th finger. Right, so we have this. Now remember, second finger is next. The first finger will shove over all the way to the high E string at the 3rd fret. And then we're going to repeat that pattern, but up here, 5th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, A string, 7th fret, B string. And then second finger goes 1 up, that finger comes across to the 5th fret now of the high E string. So we're going, now this finger, 7th fret, and the first finger on the, no, hang on, that's the 8th fret, sorry, 8th fret and 7th fret of the B string. And then, so, this all together with the first part of the verse. So, blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Now, so when you're up here, the shape, the first finger and the fourth finger, is going to slide down to the 3rd fret and the 5th fret. And then we begin this ascending sequence. And remember what I was saying about whatever this hand plays, this hand does. So, you know, remember this kind of pincer movement. Remember you're playing exactly the same things that you're playing here. So we're playing 5th and 2nd string, 5th and 1st string. So we've looked at this part here. Now we start a descending sequence here, and a lot of what we're playing with these fingers going down this way is pretty much the same that we used on the way up. So we have this. Now we're going to move everything, all of this, down 1 fret. And then, now that part there from is exactly the same as we played on the way up. It's just in reverse now. So we're going down 1 fret. So we're playing A and B strings here. So A, we're on the 5th fret, B, we're on the 7th fret, and then here we're on the A string at the 4th fret with the 2nd finger, 3rd finger, 1st finger is on the 1st fret, not 1st fret. 1st finger is on the 3rd fret of the high E string, and then we've got 4th finger, 5th fret of B string, and then 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. So it's going down like this. So up. Now come down 1 fret. So putting that together, here comes the descending. And now we're going to put this finger down 1 fret. So what we have is all your life, and then the You Were Only Waiting, which we're going to now start doing another descending part. So we've just gone all your life. Now you were only is 4th finger, 3rd fret of the B string, 1st finger, 2nd fret of the A string, and then lift off that finger, move this 4th finger down 1 fret, and then play the 5th string and that B string, and then we're going to put the 1st finger on the 1st fret of the B string, but now we're going to be playing the 4th string, but we're going to play this string open. So we're going and hear that again. coming back to what we started off with, which is the third finger on the third fret of the low E string and the open B string. So we've gone all your life, you're only waiting for this moment to arise. Now, for the very end part of the verse, we're going to play this sequence here. Which is pretty much, which is very similar to what we've just played. So we're going to play here, first finger, third fret, A string, fourth finger, fifth fret, B string, and then third finger, B string at the third fret, and the first finger on the second fret of the A string, and then move this one down one fret, then play open, and then first finger and open D string, first finger on the first fret of that B string. So let me just run through that again. So, all your life, you're only waiting for this moment to arise. All your life, you're only waiting for this moment to arise. Straight in to another verse. But let's put everything that we've learned so far together. So let's go through the intro and the verse pretty slowly. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you're only waiting for this moment to arise. One thing I would definitely recommend when learning this is to learn it in sections. So just by learning the intro, so start learning that. We've looked at the intro, we've looked at the verses, but I would suggest slowing it down a little bit. But just doing that bit over and over again. Just constant, because that constant repetition is going to really build your muscle memory for not only for this hand here, but also for your picking hand, because using the thumb on the low strings and this finger on the higher strings, as I said, it's a very common thing. Thumb generally plays the low strings, so it's kind of nice to get used to moving, especially as I say with the thumb, moving your thumb from the 6th string to the 5th string, from the 6th string to the 5th string, and sometimes the 4th string. So you're building up the muscle memory in this hand, you're building up your muscle memory in this hand too. And the other thing is, there's parts of this intro where the shapes that you're using are used in other parts as well. So that part here at the end of the intro is used in that ascending sequence. So, you know, it's a really good idea just to learn things, I would say, for this, especially for this particular tune, learn it in sections. really slowly build up the technique, build up your muscle memory. Because this is, as I said, this is how I did it, how I separated the kind of the tricky stuff that was going on in here, and just got rid of all of that and made this much easier for myself, which really did help me. And that's the other thing I did, was to just go round the same sections over and over again, which is what I recommend that you do. The middle part, the part where Paul sings "Blackbird fly," the middle part is mostly using first finger and the fourth finger. And we are starting at the 8th fret of the A string and the 10th fret of the B string. And you know, this shape here, using these two fingers, we've used it a couple of times already. Here at the end of the intro, and also in this ascending part. And so now we're going to start with it here, black, and we're going down. And now this finger and this finger all the way down. Slightly different shapes, but same two fingers. So black, bird. Now here we have, first finger has slid down 1 fret, but the 4th finger is now on the 8th fret. And then you're going to move this whole shape down 2 frets. Alright, so sounds a bit Three Blind Mice-ish, I think. And then for the next part, we're going to have the original shape. So that's the first finger on the 3rd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the B string with your 4th finger. So, then move all of this down 2 frets, and then slide up 2 frets. That's the first part. So blackbird fly. So that's going to repeat. Blackbird fly. But now when we get to the word fly, we're not going back up 2 frets, we're coming down. And this is the same part that we've done before at the end of the first verse. So now just your 4th finger on the 2nd fret, and you're playing the open A string, and then 1st finger on the 1st fret of that same B string, and the open D string. Excuse me. Before going back to the very original, your first original position, with the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string and playing the open B string. So altogether it sounds like this. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly, into the light of the dark black night. Right, now when you get back there, now you're going to play everything again. But it's like it's like an instrumental now. So we're going blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. And then it's the middle. So we go blackbird fly we do that sequence again, that intro sequence. But this time, now this is a bit where it slows down. And then it goes into like, it's like the solo or the second instrumental. Let's have a look at that now. So after that middle of do that sort of slowing down part, and then the instrumental break here is, so we've got that first opening part again, and then we're moving up, we're playing this shape again, the one that we've already done here, and then the one that started the beginning of the middle. So 3rd fret, A string, the 1st finger, 5th fret of the B string with the 4th finger. So, and then we're going to slide down. This is the same part that we did at the end of the first verse. So all we're doing for this is we're basically repeating a lot of the shapes and the sounds that we've done before. So we go slow down, a little bit of blackbird noise. Singing in the dead of night, and then we go into the final verse. So one more time. So we do that slowing down part. Blackbird sounds. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. So as I say, into the final verse. If you're getting value out of this beginner guitar fingerstyle Blackbird lesson, then why not hit the like button and help to spread this video to other beginner guitarists like yourself. So after that instrumental break, that shorter instrumental break, it goes into the final verse. So we're going to do this thing here. A blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings, learn to fly. All your life you were only waiting for this moment to arise. So that's where it changes when it gets to that part there. And it goes, you're only waiting for this moment to rise. It goes, with the singing. So, you're only waiting for this moment to rise. You're only waiting for this moment to rise. You're only waiting for this moment to rise. And what we have there is, with this same kind of descending sequence that we've seen a few times. You're only waiting for this moment to rise. This part here, which is done twice. So we've got 1st finger, 3rd fret of the A string, 5th fret of the B string with your 4th finger. So we've got a slightly quicker descending part now. And then we have this part here, 3rd fret of the B string with your 4th finger, 1st finger on the A string at the 2nd fret. and then descending a little bit more. Your fourth finger has moved down one fret, and now you're playing the open A string as well. And then we have first finger, first fret of B string, and playing the open D. So you're only waiting for this moment to arise. You're only waiting for this moment to rise. You're only waiting for this moment to rise. And then you just finish on, which is third fret, low E string, and the open B, which is exactly where we started. That's how I learned Blackbird, just using that very simple way of playing it. You know, as I said, I uncomplicated this hand, uncomplicated everything to make life a lot easier for myself. And I still think it sounds great, even just like that, without all the bells and whistles and Blackbird noises. For more fingerstyle, finger picking lessons, then click this link right here. And if you got value out of this, why not subscribe too? Thanks for joining me today. Happy strumming, happy finger picking. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching, happy strumming. Your thumb and this finger, and no, I'm not calling you a loser, but you will need these if you're going to learn this complete beginner's Travis picking style. So for this beginner's guitar tutorial, we're only going to need one chord, and that's the A major chord. And it looks like this. I play it like this, using the second, third and fourth finger. You can play it like this, many people do, with the first, second and third. In fact, this is the way I first learnt it. And either way will be absolutely fine. So now we know what chord we're going to use, we can spend the rest of the lesson focusing on this hand here, the picking hand. So let's look at the thumb first. And the thumb plays what is an alternating pattern. It plays two different strings. And it's kind of playing similar to what the bass guitar would play, you know, dung, 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 that kind of thing, the low notes. And the thumb plays on the even beats of a bar. And what I mean by that, in a bar there are 4 beats, and the thumb will be playing on beats 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so on the beat. But the thumb will play 2 different strings. Can you guess what they are? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So as I said, there are 4 beats in a bar. Now for the first and third beat of the bar, your thumb is going to play the open A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, while you're doing this, you're actually playing the A chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the second and fourth beat, your thumb is playing the D string, the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In combination, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember that this is played in time. You're not going to go fast, you're going to slow down. Keep the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's slow that down a little bit and let's let you and me play it together. So get your guitar, I hope you're in tune. Get your guitar and let's play it together. So remember, we're holding down the A chord, like so, and this is just the thumb part. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's have a look at the finger, the first finger, and what it does. So we know that the thumb was playing on the on beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. But this finger will be playing on the off beats, the and parts of the bar. So it goes something like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now that we know it plays off the beat, what is your finger actually going to play? Any ideas? Have a think.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So let's see if you're right. So you're playing the G string or the third string on the odd ands, and you're playing the B string or the second string on the even ands. Let's look at the G string, and it goes something like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the B string is going to be doing this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right, so let's try this together. Just the first fingers. Okay, that's all we're going to play, and we'll be playing them on the and beats. So the G on the G string, we'll be playing on the 1 and the 3 and beat, and the B string on the 2 and 4 and strings. I hope I'm not overcomplicating things here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So okay, we've got the thumb playing the A string and the D string, and we've got the first finger playing the G and the B string. So the thumb is going like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first finger is going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now let's put the whole thing together. Have a listen to me first, and then we're going to practice. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Sounding quite nice. Okay, so you and me together, let's play. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've been practicing this quite a bit over the last few days just to try and get this video right, and as I've been practicing I found myself with a nice little red tip of my finger, if you can see that there. It's a bit red there, and that's just something that happens with constant practice, but you know, if you develop that, it'll go away, no problems. And I also find that this part of my thumb gets a little bit calloused as well. But again, you know, with time and practice, all of this stuff, you know, it doesn't hurt after a while, right? It does go away. The pain will end. In some of my earlier Travis picking lessons, I told you to use the first and second fingers. but I was wrong. Now, I'd never actually watched Merle Travis play. When I was learning this many years ago, I just had a book, that's it, a book, and some LPs. And that helped me to figure this all out. And so when it was brought to my attention by a kind viewer that he only uses the first finger and not the first and second, I had to check it out, and he was right. It's only the first finger. So let me know, do you think using just one finger is easier than using two fingers for this technique? Let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for joining me today, and happy picking. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. 2, 3, 4. Travis picking is a great fingerstyle technique, and there does seem to be a lot of variations on how to play it. But in this beginner's guitar lesson, we'll look at a really basic way to do it. Let's go. The pattern we're going to work on only uses the C chord and your thumb and two fingers. Peace. The thumb in Travis picking usually plays an alternating bass note pattern, kind of like dunk, 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 dunk. And on the C chord, your thumb will be playing the 5th string and the 4th string. Now this alternating bass note pattern gives the impression that there's a bass player playing along with you. And as for the 1st and 2nd finger, they'll be playing the G string, that's the 1st finger, and the B string, and that'll be the 2nd finger. Now all of this action happens right here on these 4 strings here. The pattern we're using is going to be played in 4/4 time, and it's the thumb with its alternating bass notes that's going to play on the beat. So if I put on the C chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what the thumb does all the way through this pattern. As for the 1st and 2nd fingers, well, they play in between those beats. So they're going to be playing on the and beat. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... It's a very simple pattern, but it sounds so beautiful. A simple way to practice this, to get your muscle memory working, is to practice each beat individually. And because the 1st and the 3rd beat are the same, we're going to practice that for a moment. Okay, so for that we're going to be using the thumb and the 1st finger. Okay, so something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumb 1, thumb 1, thumb 1, thumb 1. Sounds like how I used to speak when I was younger, until I got it beaten out of me. And as for the 2nd finger, playing the B string, they'll be on the 2nd beats and the 4th beats. So it'll be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So putting that all together, we have this beautiful pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... And so you can practice it like that. You can practice it by speeding up and slowing down. But no matter how you play it, it's a beautiful sounding thing. perfect beginner's fingerstyle technique. So give that a try and let me know in the comments how you got on. And if you have any questions on this particular style of finger picking or beginner guitar playing in general, ask me in the comments section as well. So I'm going to play you out with this pattern while you click on this link here for another lesson. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Hi, in this beginner's guitar lesson, we're going to have a look at how to play a basic Travis picking pattern using the D major chord. There are many variations of Travis picking, but in this lesson, we're just going to look at a really simple pattern. So here's the D chord, and you can see the diagram there as well. And the finger picking action is going to happen around these 4 strings here. The D string, the G string, the B string, and the E string. The thumb is going to play an alternating pattern, and that's one of the features of Travis picking, giving that impression of having a bass guitarist playing in the background with you. And it will play the 4th string, the D string, like so. And this is the root or the bass note of this chord. The thumb will also play the G string as well. So let's have a listen to how that sounds. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first and second fingers, which is everything else you need for this basic pattern, they'll be playing the B string. That'll be done by the first finger, and the top E string, which will be played by the second finger. So just have a listen to how these sound, and keep an eye on my fingers too. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we need to put the whole thing together, and the great thing about this is that the thumb and those 2 fingers will play exactly the same all the way through this pattern. So we'll be playing 4/4 time, which means there'll be 4 beats in a part like this.
1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 5. Just like that.
So the thumb is always going to play on the first, second and third beats, on the on beats. Okay, so it'll go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As for the first and second fingers, well, they'll be playing on the off beats, on the and beats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So on the first and third ands, you'll play the first finger. On the second and fourth and, you'll play the second finger. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me show you how it all goes together. And as you can see, I've got my fingers ready here in this position. So I've got my first finger and my second finger ready to go. Okay, and the thumb is on the 4th string, the D string just there. Again, ready to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. When I started learning this, one of the things I did to kind of help me get through the stress and panic of learning a fingerstyle technique was to kind of just divide it up a little bit. So all I would do was practice the thumb and the first finger, so the thumb on the D string, I should say, and the first finger, and I would practice that over and over again, just like this. And I would do exactly the same, but with the thumb on the G string and the second finger, so like this. Just to build up a little bit of muscle memory, just to get used to playing this kind of thing. And then, as I got comfortable doing that, I would put it all together. And so eventually I came out with something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would practice slowly, just to make sure that all the strings are ringing out, and I would practice fast, just because it sounds cool. I'm just going to play how it sounds with the G chord and the C chord, and having all three chords put together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why don't you give that a try? Rewind this and play along with me. And if you're not sure how to play the basic Travis picking pattern that I use for G and C, then click this playlist here for those 2 chord lessons, and also to other beginner fingerstyle lessons too. Until the next video, happy strumming and thanks for watching.
Just like that.
Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. You know, when I was starting out, something like this would have seemed impossible to me to play, and would definitely have made me doubt that I could ever play it. Now, it seemed like there was a lot going on. Are there different notes? Are they going up and down the fretboard? Different chords? What are the hands doing? What's going on? But once I'd seen it broken down into little manageable chunks, this kind of fingerstyle playing suddenly became a reality for me, and it will for you too. Are you a beginner guitarist looking to get into fingerstyle playing? Then with just one major chord and with your first finger and your thumb, you can start playing this Merle Travis inspired finger picking technique. The major chord we're going to use is E major, and I think this is the most common way of playing it. Now if you play it with a different fingering, that'll work too. And for this finger picking pattern, you'll only actually need the top 4 strings. You'll need the D or the 4th, the G or the 3rd string, the B or the 2nd string, and the high E string, the 1st string. Now remember, the strings go in this order: 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and this is the high E, and this is the low E string. Before we get into the finger picking pattern itself, let's just quickly talk about a small problem that beginner guitarists might have with this E major chord. Now generally for beginner guitarists, this E major chord doesn't pose a problem. But if your fingers aren't arched enough, you'll get this kind of problem here, where the first finger is muting the B string, and that'll affect your playing, and even more so with this finger style, because you really do need to make each string ring out. Now you might be able to get away with it if you're strumming, but if you're doing this, no, not really. So you've got to be very, very careful. Make sure this finger, and in fact all of the fingers, are arched enough so that each string is ringing out. We're only going to be focusing on that one E major chord, and so now we can concentrate on the other hand. So let's look at the thumb first, and the thumb plays two strings. It's going to play the D, or the fourth string, and it's going to play the G, or the third string, and it's playing an alternating pattern like this here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's playing on the beat. And it doesn't matter if you're playing fast or slow. This is how the thumb works with this basic pattern. Okay, it's always on the beat. So just play along with me for a while, and we're going to go around it a few times, just using the thumb, because you really need to get your thumb used to this way of playing. And it's something that you really should practice as often as possible. You know, when you're watching TV, you're on the loo, whatever, just practice as much as you can. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, nice. Now let's look at what the first finger is going to be doing. Okay, so like the thumb, the first finger will also be playing an alternating pattern. It'll be playing the second string, or the B string, and the first string, or that high E string. And both those strings are open, and that means you're not fretting them. Now, as I said before, now you have to be a little bit careful about this finger here, this first finger when that's on the chord, and because you don't want it muffling that B string, otherwise you will have, which won't sound too good at all. So make sure it's nice and arched. So the first finger is going to play after each thumb pick. So you know that your thumb plays on the beat, so your first finger will play off the beat. So if we have a count like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and your thumb plays on the 1, 2, 3, 4s, and your finger plays on the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so before we put it all together, let's just practice what the first finger does, just like we did with the thumb. So now we're going to do the first finger playing the B and the E string on the offbeat, on the ands of the bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and. If you're getting value out of this lesson, then why not hit the like and the subscribe button to help spread this video to other beginner guitarists who might want to learn fingerstyle playing. With the thumb and the finger working together, this is what you'll get. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I think this is beautiful. It's one of those things that when I started playing, I thought was really complicated, but when broken down, it's a piece of cake. Right, let's do this together. Okay, and now just before we do, this hand here, this is the hand that I use for finger picking. Now, when you're finger picking, you want to make sure your hand is a little bit loose. If it's too stiff or too tight, you'll have a sound like this. And so kind of, relax a little bit, shake it up a bit before you start playing. So come on, the two of us, using your thumb and your first finger, let's play this together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, of course, you can use this picking style, this Merle Travis inspired picking style. And if you want to know how, then tap or click the screen here and you'll be taken to a playlist of other videos just like this for beginner guitarists. So listen, thanks for picking this guitar tutorial for beginners. Happy strumming. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. That was an example of Travis picking, and that was made famous by the American guitarist Travis Picking. And I'm going to be showing you a really basic way to play it. We're not going to look at any of the embellishments that we could use or any of the flashy parts. We're going to keep it nice and simple. We're also only going to use one chord, and we're only going to do that because I want you to really work on your picking hand technique. So we're only going to use the G chord, and when I play the G chord, I play it using these fingers just here. I use the third finger on the low E string at the 3rd fret, the second finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and I've got the 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the top E string. Now there are other ways you can play it. That's my way. Sometimes you might see it like this, or even like this here with the 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the E and the 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. However you do it, it's fine. So if you look at my hand here, this is my picking hand, this is my right hand here, and if you see the way my fingers are on the strings, these are the fingers that you will use on those particular strings. Okay, so as you can see, the 3rd finger down here on the top E string, 2nd finger on the B string, and the 1st finger is going to be playing the G string. The D string, the A string, and the low E string are all going to be handled by the thumb. Okay, because those are the bass notes, and it's the thumb that always, well, most often than not, plays the bass note. Let's stick with the thumb for the moment, and it's the thumb that, as I said, plays the bass notes, and that's kind of what Travis Picking is all about. One of the things is that it gives the illusion of there being a bass player playing along with the guitarist. Now, for this basic version that we're going to be doing, the thumb is going to be playing on the on beat, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's going to be playing the low E string and the D string, and it's going to be it's going to be if I can say it, and it's going to be alternating between those two strings like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, one of the things I would recommend when you're starting out playing this is just to practice this. 6, 4, 6, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just practice it over and over again until you can speak normally while playing those and keeping the rhythm. So we've looked at the thumb. We know that the thumb now plays on the on beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. The fingers, we're only going to be using fingers number 1 and number 2. They're going to play on the off beat, on the and beat. Okay, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me demonstrate nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so this is the thumb on the on beats. Now the first finger will play on the 1 and 3 and. The second finger will play on the even beats. 2 and 4 and. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2. One of the ways that I practiced it when I was starting out was just to do the 6 and the first finger. Okay, the thumb on the 6th string and the first finger on the 3rd string. So I would just for hours go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It might seem quite boring, but it really is a way to build up the old muscle memory. The other thing I would practice is the 4th string, the thumb playing the 4th string, the D string, and the second finger playing the B string. So like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I practiced this way, I didn't worry about which beats to be playing on. I just kept it as even as possible. Sometimes speeding up and sometimes slowing it down. Another way I practiced this was by just using the first finger, alternating the thumb but only keeping the first finger going. So like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I do the same, but just using the second finger on the B string. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, I'm using Guitar Tab, tablature. If you're not sure how to use Tab, then please check out the link in the description for a video on that. Now, as I said, we don't use the 3rd finger, but I often have it here holding on to this top E string. And I think it's just a way of keeping my hand in place. And it helps me to make sure that I'm actually picking the right strings. I don't think it affects the way I play, and I don't think it affects the way I learn other fingerstyle techniques. So, you know, if you find yourself using your finger like that, then, you know, it's not a problem. Now, this style of finger picking I think is absolutely fantastic, and I think every guitarist should know it. And I think for me it's a life-changing type of thing. And, you know, practice is so important. And because you're using the same fingers on the same strings, the thumb is alternating between the same 2 strings. This is something that you can practice wherever you are. So next time you're sitting binge watching the latest Boba Fett Netflix series or wherever it's on, you know, you can just sit there with your guitar and just practice it. Keep it going, because you know you're only using the same chord. Nothing is changing. That kind of repetitive practice really will build up your muscle memory and will really help you develop this playing. And don't worry about, you know, annoying the other half. You know, learning is a lifelong journey. So hit the notification button for all future finger picking lessons and all other lessons for beginner guitarists. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. Now that's John Lennon's fingerstyle guitar technique that he did on Julia. I think he also did it on, what's that song, Octopus's Garden from the Abbey Road album. I'd like to be. And I think he also did it on Look at Me, which comes from his first proper solo album, the Plastic Ono Band. So what we're going to do in this guitar tutorial for beginners, we're going to look at the technique that he uses. And we're going to start by looking at the technique using 4-string chords. Now 4-string chords are, well, if you looked at these chords on a diagram, you would see that you could only play the top 4 strings. And these chords are D, D minor and F. Those are the 3 4-string chords that we're going to use. So let's look at this pattern. Let's break this down nice and slowly using D for the moment. So what happens here with this technique, we'll start by looking at the thumb, and the thumb plays on the first and the third bar beats of the bar, right? So what we have is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I did say that these were 4-string chords, but in order to get that sound, dung, 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 we're playing the D string, D, and A string, D, A, and that gives that nice alternating bass note sound. Now, so that's the first and the third beat, but also on the first beat, we're going to do a little kind of pinching thing. So with the thumb and the second finger, only on the first beat and playing the top E string, the high E string, the thinnest string, we're gonna pinch these two here. So it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, pinch 2, 3, 4, pinch 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. Then what's going to come in is we're going to look at the first half of the bar, and we're going to now add the B and the G string. And for the B string, we're going to use our second finger, and for the G, we're going to use our first. And so it sounds like this. Okay, and so we're starting to piece it together. And now let's put on the final part to complete the bar. And we're still using the B and the G string, but this time we start with the B string. And so this is the basic pattern. So we've got a repeating an alternating bass note with the thumb, and then we've got a pinch on the first beat of the bar, and then we're playing the B and the G string. Now if I kind of take it apart and go backwards, now the pinch, and now just the thumbs. And that's what we're going to use for the D and the D minor chords. So the D and the D minor chord will be exactly the same. So D, now D minor, and and you can instantly hear that change. Now the F major chord, and I'm just using this version here, and I like this version very much. And so again, we start with the pinch. So that first beat of the bar is the pinch. It's on the D string and the high E string. So pinch. So that is exactly the same. But the thing is, when we do the alternating bass part, so we're doing the lower bass part with the thumb, now we can't just play the open A string like we did with D and D minor. That's not going to work at all. So what we're going to do? Well, what we need to play is, now this note here is an F, but we need to play a C. So this is F. Now the C is on the 3rd fret of the A string. So this 3rd finger is going to go here for the first beat, and then for the 3rd beat we're going to hop over to the A string at the 3rd fret and play a C note, and that's going to give us our alternating sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's sounding absolutely beautiful. So let's try a little practice first, right? And what we'll do is we'll go from F major to D minor. F major to D minor. Let's have a stab at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, D minor. F. Now the thing is, it'll probably sound or feel a little bit difficult when you start, but with repeated practice it will get easier. Now remember that if this is the first time you're looking at this type of pattern, which is apparently a type of Travis picking pattern, although I did hear somebody call it claw hammer. But if it's the first time you're playing this sort of thing, it's gonna take a bit of time. So don't rush it, take it easy. Now before we look at the 5-string chords, which are C, A minor and A, let's talk about hand position. Now my hand position, I'm obviously right-handed, so I'm using my right-handed to play this. Now when I'm picking, my palm, this part here, I think, is that the palm? Yeah, well, whatever. This part here is, resting on this part of the guitar, right? So it's always touching. It's keeping me within, keeping me in close to the strings. Because I don't want my hand here like this, because that's too hard for me. Oop, I can't even play it. Right, it doesn't, and it's like, it's not stable enough. So putting your hand here on this part of the guitar will help you keep close to the strings in order to get the right pattern. Now let's look at those 5-string chords, and we're going to start with A and A minor. So this is the A major chord, this is the A minor chord. Now the 4-string chords, D, D minor and F, they all started on the 4th string. So your thumb began on the 4th string and then went to the 5th. So now we're on 5-string chords, so this is A, and you're going to start, the first beat of the bar is going to be on the A string. Okay, in this case it's open, all right, because you're not fretting it. And that's exactly the same for the A minor chord. So if we get started and work on this pattern, so you've got the 1st, 3rd, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have the pinch, which happens on the 1st beat. And remember, the pinch is always on the first beat of the bar, and it's always on the high E string. Doesn't matter what chord you're playing. Okay, so let's have the first half. Now let's add the rest of it. And let's go to the A minor. And you can hear the change. Now let's just take it apart again. And then we come back just to the thumb. So remember, apart from the thumb, because the thumb has obviously gone from the 4th to the 5th, now onto the 5th and the 6th, that picking is still the same. You're still doing it on the 1st and the 3rd, just on different strings. But these two fingers will always do the same. Nothing changes whatsoever. Nothing changes. And remember, we have that pinch on the first beat of the bar, which is always, regardless of whatever chord you're playing, it's always going to pick the top E string, the high E string, the thinnest string. Now let's look at the C major chord. Alright, so here's your C major chord. It's a 5-string chord, so you're starting on the 5th string. And this note here that you have is a C. So, and again, we're going to play the 5th string and the 6th string. Oh, that doesn't sound too good. So what we have to do is we have to do exactly the same that we did with the F major chord, using this finger to go from the 3rd fret of the A string to the 3rd fret of the low E string. And that gives you C, G. Those are the two notes. Those are the two bass notes. All right, so exactly the same as that F major chord, right? Shifting over. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have the pinch, 2, 3, 4. Remember, the pinch is on that high E string. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first half. And I've just made a mess of that. Let's start that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I've made a mess of that again. I think I need to practice. Give me a minute. Okay, so after that brief bit of practice, I should be able to do it now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the alternating bass pattern. C, G, C, G. Now we add the pinch on the first beat of the bar. Now the first half. Now the rest of it. Okay, let's go back in reverse. And just the thumb. Now that's really nice. All right, so I think it's a great pattern, isn't it? It really sounds good when you get it right, or when you practice it. So let's put it into a bit of practice now. We're going to use 4 chords. We're going to use 2 5-string chords and 2 4-string chords. We're going to use C, A minor, D minor and F, and the chord pattern is on the screen. We're playing 2 bars of C, 2 bars of A minor, 2 bars of D minor and 2 bars of F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now and again. So it's a simple pattern, C, A minor, D minor and F. Now, you'll notice that this hand is not really changing very much. Remember what I said, that the thumb, okay, starts on the 4th and the 5th, then the 5th and the 6th. But these two fingers here are always doing the same. Now let's try it with A major and D major. So A major is a 5-string chord, so you're starting on the 5th string and alternating with the 5th and the 6th. And the D major chord is a 4-string chord, so you're starting on the 4th string and alternating with the 5th. Right, let's give this a go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, question of the day. John Lennon, his guitar playing. Now, what do you think? How highly do you rate John Lennon on a scale of 1 to 10 as a guitarist? For me, I would say he's about a 6. I don't think he's fantastic. I don't think he's the greatest rhythm guitarist in the world. He's pretty good, but he's not the greatest. Like, for example, one of my favourite Beatles songs is She's a Woman, and John Lennon's just playing this type of pattern, but you can hear he fluffs it a few times. Great song though. So let me know down in the comments, what do you on the A major chord? No, let's do D. I like D. If we put it on the D major chord. Now, if we take it step by step, we'll start with just the thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just starting by doing this over and over again, right? And even I keep stuffing it up every now and then. So, we're just going backwards and forwards. Now, I do recommend that you do this for as long as you can do it for, right? As long as you can handle it, as long as, maybe your spouse can handle it for. Just go back and forth. Just let that thumb get used to switching between those two strings, the D and the A in this case. Now, next thing we'll add is just the pinch part. Okay, on the first beat of the bar, we're going to add the pinch with the high E string. Just like this. And again, it's a good idea just to keep going around this for as long as you can. And now, add the first half of the bar. So you're just doing this. And again, for as long as you can do it, as long as you can stand it, as long as your neighbours can stand it. And now I would go for the final part. And there you have the whole thing. Of course, you could always just practice the final part, like, which is basically all it is. But then, once you've got the whole part going, go in reverse. So you're kind of taking it apart. And I'll start that again. So take it apart. Now just a pinch. And then finally, just back down to the thumbs. Now the thing I find when playing finger picking, finger style, some kind of finger picking technique, if I haven't done it for a while, I find that my thumb will get pretty sore here, around here somewhere, and my fingertips too will get pretty sore. But again, like when you're just learning chords, you get those very sore fingers, maybe your fingers start bleeding. you know, after a while, you know, you'll build up the calluses that are required to get this sorted. Right, now let's get on with the G, the 6th string chords, which are G, E minor and E. And for me, these chords are a little trickier. So let's talk first of all about the E and the E minor. Okay, E and E minor. So, just one other thing, right? Just one other thing before I forget. Now, it doesn't matter how you play the chords, right? For example, E minor, I've noticed some people play E minor like this, right? It doesn't really matter if you play like that. You know, some people play their A chords with the 1st, 2nd, 3rd finger. Now, it doesn't really matter how you play the chords, all right? It won't make a blind bit of difference. Right, so we've got E. Now, it's a 6th string chord, so we start on the 6th string. Now, normally when we've been doing this, we've been going, for example, D, A, 4, 5, or A, E, which is 5 and 6. So we're now starting on the 6th, but how are we going to do this? Because there is no 7th string, so we can't go lower. So what we need to play a B. A B note is the 2nd note. So the first note that we're playing is E, because this is the E string. And the next note we should play is a B. Right, like this. Right, so you could do it like this. Personally, I'm not a big fan of doing it like this, but let's have a quick look at it. So we start off the same way, alternating. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinching. Then adding. Oops. Messing that up again. 4. So pinch. And then the whole thing. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a problem with that E because I don't usually play it like this. Because it doesn't, as I said, it doesn't feel right. And you know, all guitarists have their problems. So I don't play it like that. But however, I do play it starting on the 4th string with the thumb playing the 4th string, because this note here that you're playing on the 4th string is an E, because you've got E here. This is an E, this is an E, and this is an E as well. So we've got 3 E's here. So I'm starting on the 4th string. So I'm doing, now I can do the alternating bass, 5, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I will pinch, and then add the whole thing. And it's the same with E minor. You can hear that minor change. Alright, let's stay with the E minor for a moment and kind of go back in reverse. Pinch, and then just the thumbs. Now let's talk about the G major chord. So here's your G major chord, and this is another chord that you might be playing differently to me. Maybe because I'm using 4th finger, 3rd finger, 2nd finger, you might be doing it like this, which is the way I started. And again, it really doesn't matter. So what we'll be doing here, we will start on the low 6th string, this here, and this note that you're actually playing is a G. And now again, we don't have a string lower, but we can't start here. This is also a G note, and like we did with the E and the E minor, I started higher. But we're not going to start on the G note, which is the 3rd string, because it doesn't work very well. So, in order to get that kind of dung, dung, dung sound, what we'll do is we'll use the D string, because we need to play G, D, G, D, like this. And now we'll do the pinch, like so. Now we can add, oops, let me get myself sorted, that's it. Now the whole thing. And then we're down to just the thumbs. So there is a little bit of a difference between the E, E minor and the G. And as I said, with the E and the E minor, yeah, you can start on the low E string and alternate between 6 and 5. But me personally, I much prefer doing 4 and 5. It gives you the same notes. And I like dung, dung, dung. I do like that. Let's have a little bit of a practice, and listen, if you're getting value out of this, why not hit the like button down below? And we're going to use a nice chord progression that will give you practice of 4-string chords, 5-string chords and 6-string chords. And you can see the progression on the screen right now. We've got 2 bars of C, 2 bars of A minor, 2 bars of D minor, bar of G, 2 bars of G, 2 bars of F, 2 bars of C, 2 bars of F, and then 2 bars of G. And you can repeat this as much as you want. And this is a nice little chord progression. So let's try this. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know you're probably thinking, it's too difficult for me. I know, but as I said, you know, the more you practice this and the more you take the pattern apart and practice those kind of little sections of it at a time, it does get easier, and you will find yourself very, very quickly, if you work on it a lot every day, you'll find yourself with this sound. You will get it. I mean, it took me a long time as well when I started out, but you know, I can do it most of the time. I can do it quite well, but that's because of the years and years and years of practice. Now, what I recommend, and something else I would recommend is, you know, I gave you that chord progression there, C, A minor, F and G and all of that. Now, why don't you make your own chord progression up? So use A, use D, use E, you know, try using the different chords and see if you can make it sound pretty good. I think that C, A minor, D minor, G1 sounds quite nice. Now, once you've done that, practice it like crazy and then leave a comment down below with your chord progression and how you got on with it. But now let's look at the intro to John Lennon's Julia. And John Lennon's Julia uses 4 chords. It's got C, it's got A minor, E minor and G. Now again, this is not exactly the same as he does it, but it is the basic technique. And I'm only going to show you the beginning bit because the rest of it uses bar chords. So now the thing is, John Lennon uses a capo. He uses one of these things on the record, and he would put the capo here on the 2nd fret. And so the chord that he's actually playing is a D, a B minor, E minor and A. Those are the chords when you put the capo on. But for the moment, we're going to forget about that. But if you just wanted to play along to the record, you need one of these things here. Right, here we go. So the chord progression is on the screen. Let's go through it a couple of times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's quite recognisable, isn't it? And that last chord is a C major 7. And basically, to play a C major 7, you're going to kind of play C, but you're not putting the first finger on. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Now, another question for you. Now, what is unusual about this Beatles recording of Julia? What's unusual about it? If you know, let me know down in the comments. And I'd love to hear what you've got to say. Now, don't stop now. Check out these other finger style tutorials here. And listen, thanks so much for joining me today. Happy finger picking. Hey, thanks for dropping by. What you're watching right now is a collection of helpful videos from my beginner guitar YouTube channel. If you want more, there are links down below. Thanks for watching. Happy strumming. If you've got no idea how to start finger picking on your acoustic guitar, then this beginner guitar tutorial will give you some tips to help you get started. The focus for this beginner guitar tutorial will be on your finger picking hand, this one here. I'm right-handed, I use my right hand. If you're left-handed, you'll be finger picking with your left hand. You won't need your fretting hand just yet. The finger picking pattern that you're going to learn in this tutorial, now not only is it going to be incredibly basic to help you get started, but it's also going to help you develop coordination and strength, and perhaps more importantly, the muscle memory that's going to help you move freely across the guitar strings. Now, before we get into the finger picking pattern itself, let's get some basics out of the way. Let's start off by talking about hand position. Now, there isn't a single perfect hand position for finger picking guitar that works for everyone. However, there are a few general guidelines that you can use to help you develop a more comfortable and efficient playing technique. And let's have a look at a few key points. Relaxation. Now, this is crucial. Tense muscles will hinder your dexterity and will probably make you tired pretty quickly. Secondly, wrist position. Now, many guitarists, many guitar players recommend keeping your wrist slightly arched and off the body. You don't want your wrist here, and because this allows for more fluid finger movements. Finger position. Now, fingers should be slightly curved with the fingertips contacting the strings near the fleshy part, so near this part here. And your fingers will be kind of slightly claw-like. Thumb placement. Now, the thumb often rests on the low E string when starting, but we'll talk more about that during the tutorial. Finger names. Now, in finger picking guitar, the finger names are borrowed from the Spanish language, not the people, and used as shorthand in guitar tablature or in guitar notation. And here's a quick rundown with a little diagram. So P is pulgar, and that means thumb. I is the indice, and that's your index finger. M, the medio, is your middle finger. And A, annular, that's your ring finger. Now, the little finger, le chiquito, I think it's pronounced, is not something you're going to need for this finger picking pattern, so don't worry about it. And sometimes your fingers are simply numbered, although the thumb is a letter and it's always a T, with your first finger being number 1, second finger number 2, third finger number 3, and fourth finger number 4. Okay, so let's talk about this pattern. Now, we're not using a chord, we're just going to use the open strings, because as I said earlier, I just want us to focus on your finger picking hand. Now, we're going to be using 4/4 time, okay, which means that there are 4 beats in a bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what we're using for this first few finger picking patterns. Now the strings that we're going to be playing are the 6th string, 3rd string, 2nd string and 1st string. Now remember, with string numbering it goes down this way starting at 6. So this is 6, this is 5, this is 4, 3, 2 and 1. So 4 strings, 4/4 time, so that means 1 string per beat. So your thumb is going to play the open 6th string, okay, this one here. And generally the thumb plays the bassier strings, the lower strings, the 6th string, the 5th string and the 4th string. But for now, just the 6th. Now your first finger is going to play the G string, your second finger is going to play the B string, and your third finger is going to play the E string. So 6, 3, 2, 1. So let's practice this finger picking pattern together. So remember, 4 beats in the bar, so your thumb is playing the first beat, your first finger is playing the second beat, your second finger is playing the third beat, and your third finger is playing the 4th beat. And we're playing strings 6, 3, 2, 1. Let's try this together nice and slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, as I said, the thumb will play the bassy strings, the 6th string, the 5th string and the 4th string. So let's try playing it, the same pattern, but this time starting on the 5th string, the low A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's try it starting on the 4th string, the open D string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, mistakes are going to happen. So if you find yourself doing that sort of thing, don't worry. Take your time and practice this, right? That's all you need. Practice, practice, practice. And as I said, you will eventually develop the muscle memory that allows you to do a smoother finger picking pattern there. Now, the other thing is, if you have a pre-playing routine, one thing I often do is I shake out my hands, my wrists, and my fingers a little bit, although I don't know about cracking the knuckles. But the other thing is, keep your hands warm. If you've got warm fingers, that lets you play better. I mean, even John Lennon said it on the roof. He said,
My hands getting too cold to play.
So we're using 4/4 time, which means 4 beats in the bar. And what that actually is quarter notes. That's what you're playing. So one bar consists of 4 quarter notes. Now, the second pattern, we're going to use 8th notes. So that means instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me show you what this sounds like, starting with the thumb on the 6th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now let's try the same thing, but we'll have our thumb starting on the 5th string, the open A string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. finally, let's start with the thumb on the open D string, the fourth string. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, did you notice